you know this whole thing behind every great man is a great woman. Is that true? No, that's an absolute lie. And men should know that. Let me ask you a question. Is a Lamborghini an asset to me or a liability? It's both. It's both. If the Lamborghini, it has upkeep and I have the money to pay for the Lamborghini, it enhances my life. If I start running out of money, what does that $10,000 a month bill mean to my life? It's gonna bleed me out. As a man, if you're strong, a woman adds to your life. If you're weak, she will destroy your life. So should you have weakness of the woman? No. Okay, so a woman is a luxury good. To even say your woman's there to support you, that's like if you have a mansion, your mansion will enhance whatever's going on. If you're rich, you have business connections come over, friends come over, the mansion helps you. If you're poor, it's gonna destroy you. Your woman is a luxury good. She's the highest form of luxury good you have. She's the greatest status increaser that you can have. Having a beautiful woman on your arm is better than having a watch, better than having a car. It says the most about you, okay? But if you're not strong, she's gonna shit test you, she's gonna distract you, she's gonna cause problems for you. So the kind of look that you have is like you understand that like having a woman is like having a pet, like a beautiful, beautiful exotic pet wolf. Okay, it's like the most beautiful animal. It's gorgeous. It's better than some pug. Everyone's impressed. It's incredible. But you don't just like put your neck up to it and like, it's my little puppy, right? You respect that wolf has instincts. Okay, that wolf has hundreds of millions of years of evolution. It has instincts. And you can have your pet wolf, but you don't view it like it's just like this harmless thing. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Guys who view their woman as harmless will wind up in divorce court getting destroyed for millions of dollars, not to mention all the other problems that can happen. So it's not a joke. So love your woman the way you love your wolf dog. Do you see what I'm saying? Yep. I mean, how beautiful would that be? Like imagine you had a pet tiger, like a white tiger. How beautiful would that be as a pet? It'd be an amazing pet, okay? But would you be like, it's just a cutie pie. It's like little pumpkin man. Okay, so you understand like what you have. But by the way, women should think the same thing with a guy. What's a guy likely to just do to a girl? Bang her, get her pregnant, and leave. Because his best evolutionary strategy is bang, pump and dump, and leave her to raise it for another guy. So women should not view men as like lightly either. It should be the same thing. But guys, people hear this, it scares them. Why does it scare you? I thought you're strong. You're meant to be strong. Okay, you're born to be strong. You are strong. You can easily handle all that. None of that is a big deal. You can take it in a stride. And then part of life is then you accumulate enough resources that you can go do something fun. You don't need to think about it, right? If I take my children, to the roof up here, I had my kids up on the rooftop restaurant up here, we're laughing, we're having fun. I'm not like openly hostile and paranoid, right? But I didn't get to a point that I could bring them to that restaurant without being aware. So a lot of my life at this point, 10 out of every 12 months is me just having fun with my friends and family. But that's because I created the structures that supports that fun. So in the same way with your woman, when she has her fake business that she loses money at, but you lie to her and you tell her it makes money, you created a fiction. The kids also live in a fiction. My children live in a fiction. The whole point of being a man is to generate a fiction for everybody around you. You guys right now are in a fiction. You're at a free seminar. How does this even happen? There's no free seminar. Who else has a free seminar? Nobody has a free seminar. You're in the most beautiful hotel downtown. Did you guys all go to the roof? Yeah. Who here went to the roof? Dude, before you leave, do not leave. It's the best roof in all of Los Angeles. In all of the West Coast is this roof, okay? I'm not kidding, go see it. It's incredible, okay? Unfortunately, it's late, you probably won't see the open air restaurant on the top, but you can at least look out the windows in floor 70. I hope you're enjoying the video, and what I'd like to do next is invite you to a completely free event where we do recordings of seminars just like this. Here's the difference. When you watch this video from home, you don't get the energy, you don't get the network, you don't get the mastermind group, you don't get the feedback, and the events are about 13, 14, 15, 16 hours a day, and you might catch a couple clips, but you don't see our core curriculum. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to really want to benefit from these free events and click the link below and get signed up for one. Now, I do them in my neck of the woods, and my team does them overseas in every major city. So pretty much whatever major city you're in, you are going to find free events. Now, if you can't find a free event in your city, I'd recommend that you fly in. And likewise, for whatever reason you couldn't fly in, which again, I'd highly recommend you to fly in because any of these events are better than most 5 or 10K events that you'd find out there, even though they're free. Then what you could do is also do a virtual event. So like I said, in my neck of the woods, I run them.
Overseas, my team crushes it, okay? We have a proprietary process that we teach at these things that get you a very incredible result. They're designed to help you make more money. They're designed to help you get better at social skills, attraction, being spiritually tapped in, getting feedback, and this is a process that I built over a quarter century. We've taught these events in 265 cities, 75 countries around the world, and no matter who teaches it to you, when you go through the process, you will get the result and the mastermind group and the feedback and going out and all the fun. So what I want you to do is I want you to be just like this buffalo who's coming up on me and click the link below, fly in, whether it's to come see me, whether it's to do one locally overseas, or whether to do one virtually. Make sure that you get yourself in here, because you know what? I'm kind of reckless. And I could be dead at some point doing things like this, and you wouldn't be able to attend anymore, okay? I'm a little bit reckless, okay? I'm a little bit silly. So make sure that you get yourself in here, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in person or having my team run it or virtually, all getting the same result at the free event. Click the link right now, and as soon as you do, we put you into a group. We begin networking with you. You start getting direct contact from me, getting you feedback. It's incredible. Click the link below right now. I'll see you at the free event.
So the point is, you're here for free. I made you dumb enough to think that you deserve a free seminar. What, are you retarded? You think you deserve a free seminar? You know, what did you do to deserve a free seminar? Nothing. But I made you think that. I'm like, wow, thank you for coming, okay? If you're strong, you can give a free seminar. You guys are dumb enough to think you deserve free 5-hour videos? But if I'm strong enough, I can say, hey, thank you for watching my 5-hour video. See how I do that for you? Does that make sense? I think it's fun to receive as well, but it's nice to be able to create it. Real strength is being able to create that, to be with your family who are all playing and like live in a delusional world, and you know that you create that for them. And then as your sons get older, you have to, introduce stresses and gradually, bring them to the world, right? It's like a man, his girlfriend is like a little girl, not a pedo to be clear, okay? But behaves like a little girl. And then a boy, his girlfriend is like a boss babe. You guys see that? So you have to allow her to feel safe by basically, but you never complain about it. Like, she's never supposed to know what you went through. You have to hide that from her. Now, if she's getting too crazy, you can sit her down and talk to her, be like, hey, here's what is involved here, and here's what I require from you, and you could put down a boundary. But she should never actually understand what's involved. You know who should never understand either? Your staff. Your staff, here's why, okay? Your staff are literally taking 5% the amount of money you do, if not 1%, if not less than 1%, in order to live a lie. You're providing a lie in order that they take less money and you get more, right? If you're gonna get $1 million and they get 100,000, shouldn't they get to live in a lie? Yeah. Isn't that fair? Yeah. Because if you're gonna have to live in the truth, you should get the $1 million. Agreed? Yeah. Right? If you're gonna, if you have to hear things like, hey, animals kill each other, there are hostilities, you need to be disagreeable. If you're gonna have to learn to be disagreeable, you should get paid for that, right? Agreed? Yeah. Right? But if you just wanna live as an employee, you don't have to view people in the world as disagreeable. You never have to know that the hotel clerk is gonna try to jack up the price on you. You don't have to know that that your staff is like, how much, when you own a business, your whole job is like, continually putting your lazy, and my staff here are amazing, by the way, but in general, continue putting your lazy staff in check, continually putting clients that are trying to rip you off and create problems in check. Like, if I'm on a training and we go out and we go hit the club, do you think guys actively want to go approach or have to keep checking you? Okay, if I bring guys up here, do they want to project or do I have to keep checking them? Do you think my children want to go to school and learn or do I have to keep checking them? So that's what a man is. It's just check, 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 right? But it's keeping them in line. It's keeping everything moving forward. That's what men are meant to do. Men recently became so weak that they just let themselves get called toxic and they let their entire power get stripped from them to the point that it's just ridiculous. And now you just have to learn to be like a fuckboy degenerate in order to get a girlfriend. That's how bad men let it get. But they deserved it because they didn't lead. So what you saw was basically women are like, these guys aren't leading, I don't trust them, so now we have to take matters in our own hands. So the definition, say the word, the social contract. The social contract. The social contract means, basically, in effect, here's what the definition of a social contract is. It is, someone wants to live in a bubble that's created by a system, and they'll continue to live in that bubble and feed into it if they can just live a nice, pleasant life, okay? So for example, like, do you guys all want to have to study natural health and nutrition for hundreds of hours to not get sick? Or do you want to trust the medical establishment, ideally? Ideally. Yeah, but can you trust the medical establishment? No. No, of course not, right? So, okay, would you guys like to just know that you could just go to public education and then take the courses they gave you and knew that you could get rich because you went and got a public education? Wouldn't that be nice? Yes. But can you just go get public education, you'll be rich? No. Okay, wouldn't you guys like to know that you could drink the tap water and that you could just drink water and be fine? But what happened to tap water? It's poison. Is it okay? Okay, wouldn't you like to know that you could go get like, a nice steak from some ranch and there's no hormones and antibiotics and poison? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. Instead of having to like research what grass-fed, grain-finished, grass-fed, grass-finished, what ranch is it from, and do all this research. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. But can you? No. Wouldn't it be nice if you knew that you could meet the love of your life just by going to high school, getting a job, and just being a good guy, and then you'd meet the love of your life somehow via the system? Like back in the day, the church would make introductions. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. Is that going to work now? No. Absolutely not, right? So do you guys say the word the system is broken? The social contract is broken. Yeah, so a lot of these things that we say like, love conquers all or be yourself or things like that worked within a bubble that the social contract wasn't broken. Who here would literally do anything if marriage would just work the way it was supposed to, would want to get married if it would work the way it's supposed to? Put your hands up if that's you. Okay, put your hands way up just to make the point. Okay, so it's almost everybody in the room. So guys will take my courses and people will critique it and they'll say, oh, these guys don't even want to get married. No, that's not true. It's that marriage is meant to work within a social contract. But what happens to the majority of people if they engage in marriage, to most of them? They wind up financially ruined. It's a financial ruin, right? Statistically speaking. So, and then they say, no, but you just got to believe, just believe, have faith, et cetera, right? So we all want to get married in a system where it works, but it doesn't work. So in life, they say, repeat this after me. Strong people create good times. Good times create weak people. Weak people create bad times. We are the tail end of a very, very, very strong generation. We didn't stick up for our generation. If I were to ask any of you in here, what did you do for your society? Some of you in here would have amazing stuff, but most of you in here thought having a job was enough, and that's it. So you didn't stick up for yourself. So because you didn't collectively, I'm not trying to shame you, I'm being honest with you. So because you did not collectively stick up for yourself, we are now going into very hard times. And then what guys do is they become what's called NEETs. What's NEET stand for? I told you guys earlier. No education, employment, or trading. Say NEET. NEET. No education, employment, or trading. I think I got that anyway. So the point being, that's where we are. Guys vaping, whacking off, playing video games in their basement and rotting. They even call it laid down and rot. Lay down, and it's like LDAR, Eldar or something like that, right? It means lay down and rot. That's where guys are at. Why? Because they're confused. They don't understand the social contract is gone. So what are men going to have to do? And I think women will help too. What do people have to do to get back to where we were? We have to come back. We have to have a human awakening project. We have to come back and we have to rebuild it. That's what's going to have to happen, right? Or AI is going to come in and people are just going to make little death by 1,000 cuts and we're fucked. But that's where we are. So a lot of people don't tell you that. You remember on the first night of this event, we talked about complicated truths and being able to look at things that are a little bit harder. Part of growing up is that, right? So even with guys learning how to approach a girl out, that is actually learning how to generate good emotions. Then she might shit test you. Then you pass the shit test by not reacting. That generates trust. That's what attraction is. It's not manipulating somebody. You don't meet a woman by manipulating her. You meet a woman by showing that you're confident, funny, in a good mood, strong, and disagreeable. That's what generates attraction, not tricking somebody. It's actually being that person. If you're that person, it's not that hard, okay? Now, are you guys getting this whole idea of social contract, not social contract? Yeah. Is some of the social contract still left? Yeah. It is. There's some of it. It's not all gone. There's some of it, but a lot of it is gone. That's where you get, look, love or hate the guy, a president like Donald Trump, he comes from, and you can hate all his policies, by the way, and you can even hate him. And I certainly do not agree with all his policies by any means. But what kind of the guy's trying, okay? You can hate his policies, which I hate some of his policies, but I'll acknowledge the guy's trying. What is he trying to do?
Make America great.
Like, do you think does he ever show fear? Ever?
No.
Do you think he doesn't have fear? No. He does have fear. It just doesn't show. That's what a man was. This guy's, how old is Trump?
75.
This guy's pushing 80, right? Imagine pushing 80 and looking stronger than the majority of 25-year-old men in your country. Right? So again, you can disagree with his policies. I disagree with a lot of them, by the way. I'm just making the point that I can still see, this guy's out of his fucking mind, but he's at least trying, right? So he's actually seeing different bullshit that's happening, whether it's like tariffs or the wall or different things like that, right? Where he's like, yo, this is out of control. Even Iran, which I don't even agree with, but I'm not an expert, I'm just a layman. What's he trying to do in his brain?
Make America great again.
Well, he's like, these fuckers are building a bomb. What the fuck? No. Fuck no. Some people think he's under control of Israel. I don't really know. The point is this, but the way he explains it is he's like, you're not getting a bomb. Like, you're not letting, like, say there's some weirdo in the back of the room, like, dressed like a goth kid, looking like he's crazy. You don't get to make up, and he's like building a bomb. He's like, no. That's, like, look, maybe he's just manipulated by Israel, I don't know. But I'm just making the point, like, that's his words, basically. He's like, no, right? Or he sees other countries taking advantage in terrorists. He's like, no. So he's disagreeable. Now, love or hate the guy, was he successful with girls?
Yes.
How successful? Yeah, so he's like an old school type of guy who just had boundaries, and then he created buildings, he created projects. Where do you think he learned disagreeability if he was a real estate guy? How do you think he learned it? Can you imagine where your concrete layer is ripping you off? Your steel beam layer is ripping you off. The city's fucking you over. Can you imagine what it's like to build a building in Manhattan? Can you imagine what that must be like? Your banks are trying to rip you off. To be fair, maybe Trump ripped people off. You know my point, though, right? It's like there's a lot of shit happening. So that's part of being a man is this is happening all the time, but you don't want to let it get you down. You've got to view it like it's kind of funny, okay? Like you got to kind of laugh at it. You're like someone fucks you. You start laughing. When people fuck with me, my most common thing I do is I laugh. I was at We Spot. You guys know We Spots in here? This guy started jacking off in the steam room, and he's staring at me, right? Why do you guys think the guy's jacking off in the steam room staring at me at night at We Spot? Because he's demon infected. He wants to freak me out, right? So if I go, hey, you got to stop, is that giving what he wants? Yeah. So what I do instead? I go, bro. I go, oh my God, dude. Are you jacking off? Bro. Stroke it. Stroke. Yo, he's gonna stroke. Let it pop. Let's see it pop. What do you think he did? Oh, and he runs out like that because you laugh at it, right? So when people fuck with you, laugh at them, and then initially they'll be like, like you think they think that they've got you like laughing. You go, no, but get the fuck out, right? Like so he's like stroke, like he'll I go, no, but like get the fuck out. That's the kind of view that you have. It's like because by laughing at it, what does it show you? You're not gonna traumatize me with your little stroking, bro. Okay? You want a stroke? I'm gonna clown you like a bitch, and then I'm gonna fucking put a boundary. That's how you have to view it. So when people fuck with you, laugh at it and say no, right? Say your girl's acting all fucking crazy with you, be like, oh my God. No. That's the format, okay? Like it's all funny and no. Will she get more attracted or less attracted? More. Why is that? Disagreeability. Say disagreeability. What does disagreeability equal? It equals safety. Okay? So now while everybody complains that they can't control you, who's the first person they go to for help? Who's the first person they brag about that they're associated to? You. Who's the person they're most proud to know? You. So that's just part of being an adult. Now, I still have the best mentors. Look, me and Marcel sit there mentoring each other all the time. I get mentors, I get help, I have people ahead of me. So it's not about trying to be a tough guy, but that's just how you carry yourself. I'd be curious your take on this as a woman experiencing men in the modern age and what that's like for you.
I've been straight for a year, so my experience is very limited. But it's been a while.
Well, actually, I think that if that's the case, were you like the guy lesbian or the girl lesbian?
Uh-huh.
Were you the guy lesbian so you were with women before?
I mean, they were also different.
I wish I would have known this about you because you could have come out and helped me out. But anyway, so are you the guy lesbian or the girl lesbian are you saying that you were previously lesbian?
I mean, I'm more of a girl lesbian, but I fluctuate. I'm a sapiosexual one.
Okay, so what kind of girl lesbian do you like?
Butch lesbians, my preference, but there have been different ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some of the best girls at game I've ever seen are butch lesbians, by the way. They're savage dudes. Okay, they're fucking savage.
I feel like they were more men than men. I mean, my little experience I had with men when I was growing up, then I met her, and I was like, wow. I actually liked one star in my home country, and I like him very much. And then I met his wife, and then she seduced me. So that's how I kind of became.
What I really like, okay, what I love about what she said was this. Okay, so I always tell ugly guys that the best seducers I've ever seen are butch lesbians. And I will always see these gorgeous girls with some like 5'2", backwards hat butch lesbian, and she's got the girl, and she'll be like mate guarding. She'll be like that, like she'll be like walking, like she'll be like you'll see her. Do I remind you of your ex? She'll be like here, I'm gonna bore you. Here, watch. Like she'll be like that. Okay. Does that remind you? Am I like your ex? Okay. So, yeah, but you'll see this, and what it basically is this. They know. Like, you think you got a small little dick and you're mad about it, right? Me too. I get it. But the thing is, imagine being a lesbian with no dick, right? You'd kill for that 2-inch dick. What's that? Yeah. But imagine you had a little extra, you know? Yeah. So the point I'm getting at is like, guys with small dick complain, and meanwhile, some short little pudgy butch lesbian seduce your girl, right? Or guys like, oh, I have to look smash, or I have to be 6 feet tall. But meanwhile, that butch lesbian seduced a gorgeous straight girl. How did she do that? How did the butch lesbian seduce the straight, non-lesbian, beautiful girl? How'd she do it? It's just the shit we're teaching you here. Okay? It's called, she pumped the girl's state, got her chasing, played with the validation, and made the girl feel safe. And then a lot of the guys are such clowns, they never apply themselves to learning, so the girls are sick of those guys, and they're low value, and they'd rather just date a butch lesbian. That's my take anyway. I want to get her take.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm discovering that men, before I felt like all the men, they were like some kind of animals, like different breeds, giraffes, cats, dogs, I don't know, beautiful animals. But I just felt like, like I don't want to come and hug a giraffe or something, But recently I met an alien man. I mean, a year ago.
And what did he have going for him?
Everything.
Like what?
I mean, I don't even know how to describe that. I mean, we're not together.
But you had fun?
I mean, he opened up something.
He opened up some doors. Okay. So, but can you guys imagine what it's like to be a woman? And then with the way that guys are now, how frustrating that is? And who do the men blame, by the way? They blame the women. Right? And so I point the finger back at men, and then what happens is, okay, so you know how like CNN and like certain like elites and whatnot shame men because they want to lower their self-esteem, like they just browbeat men all day to fuck with them, right? I'm not shaming men in the way that CNN shames men. I'm shaming men that they listened to CNN. Like, it's like, yeah, but they keep telling me I'm bad. I'm like, but you listened? Right? Like, if your nephew is clowning you, I'm not clowning you the way your nephew's clowning you. I'm clowning you that your nephew fucked you up. So you should so as a guy, you want to be continually cultivating that to generate safety for the people around you, okay? Last point I'll make is this. You can talk, okay, so you know how they tell you men should be more vulnerable? Let me explain to you what vulnerability actually means, okay? First of all, okay, so you've heard the stereotype that if you go broke, your girlfriend's gonna leave you. You've heard that stereotype, right? That is 50% true, 50% a lie. Why is it true and why is it a lie?
If you're cold framed, then it's not.
How many of you guys have gone broke and your girl left? Put your hand up if that happened to you. It's happened to me. Come on, don't be ashamed. Put your hand way up. Way up. Way up. Come on, man. Come on, brokey. I'm one too. Okay. All right. It is very well known and a fact that oftentimes if a guy loses his business or his job, the girl will leave. That is true. But can we come up with counterexamples? A counterexample would be most girls in their 20s are dating broke club promoters. So if a girl will live under a bridge or on a couch with a nightclub promoter, why would she leave her businessman boyfriend when he goes broke? There's two reasons. What would they be? The first one is she was with that guy for money, but with the promoter for love. Love. Hypergamy, love. The other one is, so that's why you don't want to get a girl for the wrong reasons. That's the first thing. The second reason is because he let it affect him, okay? So in other words, if you're the captain of the ship and the ship's burning, if you pretend it's not burning, that's actually making you look weak because it's obviously burning. But you go, babe, there's a fire there. The boat is, the escape boat is there. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go in that boat. The island there has a lot of coconuts. I've been meaning to check out that island a long time. Hop in the boat, babe. That's vulnerability. You can tell the truth, just don't be affected ever. All the girls want is for you to pump their safe, be confident, make them feel good. They're LARPing, they're cosplaying. So just keep the cosplay going. Keep the cosplay actively going. Now, why is it actually horrible, inconsiderate advice to tell a woman who you're having sex with that you're scared? Why is that actually really horrible to do as a man? Very inconsiderate. It's actually abuse. It's actually abusive to do that. Okay, look, if you're a woman and your man is having sex with you and he's coming inside you, which is the act of impregnating you. Imagine a man's coming in you and you think you might be pregnant and then he's saying to you, what? I'm scared. I might lose the business. I'm scared. Is that appropriate?
No.
And then she leaves you and then what do? You blame her? How is that appropriate? How is that appropriate? If you're to the point that you think that you can't hold it together, maybe send her to live back with her mom or break up. Don't be having sexual intercourse with somebody and then scaring them that you're not safe. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's not appropriate at all, okay? So real strength as a man is everyone around you is within the social contract that you created. Okay, say, I am the generator of the social contract. I'm not trying to live in somebody else's. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
What would be example of a woman creating social contract?
I think that if you want to, but I think it's so sad that in a room of all these men, that's where your mind would go, because if the men were stepping up, there'd be so many, if he had his shit together, he had his shit together, he had his shit together, and not just money-wise, but swagger-wise and everything-wise, the last place her RAS would be going is, okay, so anyway, how do I do it? Okay? If you had Victoria's Secret supermodels in the room, would you be like, oh, how do I go jack off to Pornhub? No, you don't want to meet the Victoria's Secret model, right? So the thing is, all that being said, I think it's just the same way a guy would do it. Same principle. Mm-hmm.
Creating your own story, basically.
It is, but it's also
game theory.
Yeah, but it's also that you're so strong that no one ever sees you sweat ever. No approach anxiety, no failing shit tests. Your staff continually pushing the boundaries. Your clients continually pushing the boundaries. Your competitors continually pushing the boundaries, okay? How do animals die in nature? Repeat this after me. Predators, competitors, and rot. So in other words, other animals come eat your food. That's one. Other animals come eat you, right? That's another. Or even if other animals can't come eat you and other animals don't eat your food, what else can happen? Disease. So when I take Eastern herbs, what am I actually doing? What is the idea of powerful supplementation or a sauna? What is that? That's called a fucking boundary. I haven't been sick in 15 years. Why? Because I have a boundary against rot. I don't teach that. Go learn it on your own. I'm not giving medical advice. But I have a boundary against rot. So I have boundaries against everything. Boundaries upon boundaries upon boundaries upon boundaries upon boundaries upon boundaries. And I also don't look to others to self-generate my state. I'm always in a 10 out of 10 state. Even with my voice killing me, I can be at peace on the last day of a big, long, giant seminar, voice inflamed, I can sit here in a present state. So I'm not looking to anybody else to control my state. Now, here's what guys say. They say, well, if you have to do that to get a girlfriend to get money, here's what they say. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. No, the juice isn't worth the squeeze because you want to live within someone else's social contract. If you're the one creating the social contract, what is that? That's your God-given ability. What do we learn about God? You are made in the image of your creator. So when will you be the most happy? When you're just soaking up the other system, or when you're generating it, when you're the creator? When you're, say the word generator. Creator. So when you're the creator and you're the generator, then that's why guys have a dick. That's why the dick anatomically points out, it shoots out cum, and every monument we have is a giant dick. Why is the ultimate homage that we could pay to the most important person, George Washington, even though he's not a perfect person, but how do we make his monument? It's a giant dick, right? And when every man sees that, he's like, God, that's so beautiful. Maybe someday there could be a giant dick monument of me, right? That's the ultimate monument. So it's this giant dick. What that means is you're not, as a man, you're not taking in, you're not like, I need. No. You're the one, you are strong at shooting out. Now, food going in tastes good, but cum feels even better going out. In the same way, being in somebody else's system does feel good. I can enjoy a massage. I can enjoy the sauna. I'll go watch a movie. I'm not opposed to somebody else serving me and doing what's called receiving. I'm just not a taker. Taker means you're empty and you need someone else to take from, right? Receiving is, no, I am a giver and I am a creator and I am a generator, but someone else is choosing to generate for me. And in a way, by you guys being in my system, you guys are blessing me. And you guys are blessing me because now I get to generate. So my buddy Sid, for example, whenever I go to buy him dinner, he'd always be like, no, you can't buy me dinner. You can't buy me dinner, because he's very masculine. So he wants to be the generator. He always wants to pay for dinner. I go, Sid, that's actually low value because Sid's so high value. I go, because sometimes you have to accept the dinner from me. Does that make sense? You have to give me the chance to make the dinner sometimes. Or to pay for the dinner sometimes, right? Because I want to be the generator. I don't want you to always do it, right? So as a woman, the best thing that you could do for your man in some ways is to receive for him and to give him the gift of being a creator. And then how do you become a creator? There's many ways to be a creator, but one of them, what's one of the most powerful ways a woman gets to be a creator? Children, okay? So motherhood, right? Which we can't do. So we're just stuck with this lame shit that I'm talking about here. Imagine
If a man doesn't want to have kids,
then dump them or cheat on them. Okay? So kidding. So I'm kidding, but I would do it I would for sure cheat if my guy wouldn't impregnate me. So look, the point is, I'm not going barren. So the point being is this, okay? It's I'd probably break up with him, but anyway, look. So the idea being is that. The woman can create through her children, and we have almost like the second, like not even as good of a version of creation, right? But that said, some women can have children, and they can create in other ways. Also, to be clear about this, why I'm pro-feminism, not pro the captured version of feminism, right? Because by the way, I'm pro-marriage, I'm not pro-captured marriage. I'm 100% pro-marriage. I'm 100% against captured marriage. Marriage is institutionally captured. That means marriage is currently designed to create the failure of relationships. Do you guys catch that? Yeah. You can be pro-marriage, but understand that if the most evil people in the world institutionally capture marriage, then it's bad. I'm pro-medical system, but if the medical system is institutionally captured, I'm not going to just trust the medical system. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay? So you have to be aware when these things have been institutionally captured. Why do they get institutionally captured? Because strong people create good times create weak people create bad times, because in the weakness, evil people take over institutions. Wouldn't you guys like to trust the media? Like watch Tom Brokaw, and you can just watch the news and find out what's happening. Yeah. Wouldn't that be better than having to watch a million YouTube channels with biases? Yeah. But can you just watch the Tom Brokaw guy? Because you're being propagandized. How do you make more money if you're a news agency selling ads? So wouldn't you think that the best news agency would get the most viewers and sell the most ads, right? Wouldn't that make sense? Yeah. But what if a bazillionaire can pay more than the advertisers can to propagandize the masses? Well, who's your client now? The bad guy. Not every bazillionaire is a bad guy, but you know my point, right? So these are institutionally captured. So a lot of the best things are institutionally captured because the people who run those institutions don't have a boundary. And then everything goes to shit, okay? So here's the last point I'm pointing out. So believe in marriage, but not institutionally captured marriage. So I think what farmers do is great, but if Monsanto has come in and done GMO and done antibiotics and has done poisons and all that kind of stuff, look, there's a time and a space for those things. There's a purpose behind them, but I'm not necessarily just looking to eat, glyphosate. Do you guys like to eat glyphosate?
Kale.
What's that?
It's in kale and
Yeah. You guys got what I'm saying? Right? So now let me go deeper. The real feminism, is that bad or good?
Good.
How good?
Good.
The real feminism. How good is it?
Amazing.
Out of 10, how good is the real feminism?
1,000.
Okay, 1,000. But is what you saw in the recent years real feminism, or is that institutional capture? Correct. You can say the word Yuri Bezmenov. Look him up. Write it down. Just write down Yuri Bezmenov. Just write it down. Guys, should Harvard be good? Would that be cool to go to Harvard? But is it? No, it's institutionally captured. It's institutionally captured. So these are good things that are institutionally captured. Now they'll flip back around, and their counter argument is no. The way that a fascist does it is that they shit talk the institution so you don't trust them. And that could be true, but sometimes the institutions are just captured. Okay, it ain't that deep, bro. No one's doing that. It's just captured. So then from there, take women and feminism, right? Is every woman meant to take a traditionally feminine path? Every woman? No. Okay, do you ever see the show Game of Thrones with Brianna Tarth? You remember her? Yeah. She's a better knight than the man is. Should she have the right to go become a knight?
she's my type.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that's like a bad bitch, right? So, point is, that girl should be able to go become a knight. That's what feminism was meant to do. If you don't want to do this, you can do whatever you want to do. Feminism is meant to be, you can do whatever you want. Feminism is not meant to be, if you use your superpowers, you're bad. That would be as if I was under an ideology that told me that public speaking is bad. You see what I'm saying? So then I went and became an accountant. I'm an accountant. I work in HR instead of doing what I'm so gifted to do. So feminism is about women having all the choices in the world, but having freedom and not shaming them. Women should not feel shamed. But it's not just other women that shame girls in feminism. It's also beta males. The accumulation of the beta male and NEETs, the no income, the no education training or no education employment or training, right? Or entrepreneurship. So then what happens is the girls have no choice. The girls have literally no choice. But then what happens? Let's look how the cycle goes from there. Now the cycle becomes the girls have no choice, but then the men feel shittier than ever because now the girls are accumulating in strength. Institutionally, they can lower population by getting the women to accumulate strength so they don't even want to reproduce. Now population's dropping like a fucking stone. And then from there, what happens is that we're now in even more of a cycle. Did you guys catch that? We're now in even more of a cycle. How do guys break the cycle? Let's actually ask ourselves a question. How would men break the cycle?
Make some babies.
But no one wants to make a baby with you. They're turned off. So how do we break the cycle?
Work on yourself.
Individually, you work on yourself, but here's what you don't realize. The great strength in America is that we can also freely associate. So communism is forced association. Capitalism is freely associating. Clearly speaking, men are never going to get out of this nosedive if they don't begin to freely associate and become more attractive for women. And for them damn selves. You're important too. Equally important. So do you guys see that? So in other words, okay, let's look at this, okay? We say, you know what? Here's what entrepreneurs do. We go, you know what? If that guy's broke, let him be broke. He's got to hit rock bottom. Then COVID hits. And then when you realize that all these brokies are going to lock you down and going to shut down your business. Amazon keeps going. They're essential. Your mom and pop shop gets shut down, non-essential. Gavin Newsom eats at French Laundry without a mask. you have to wear a mask. Rich people fly private, you can't get on a plane, you have to wear a mask, et cetera, et cetera. So when you allow a bunch of retards who fail to accumulate, what happens to you even if you're rich? You fail, right? If you live in an impoverished country where everybody's broke, you get robbed. Your wife gets assaulted. So you can't let your country fail. But we could freely associate to do that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so in the same way, guys, what guys can do is guys can also choose to freely associate. And so we need a human awakening project of some kind where it's like a church. Now the church is fucking amazing, but here's the challenge. Who here in this room, out of all these people, actively goes to church most weeks? So how come, if you want to know why society's falling apart, you just saw why. How enlivening was just this event this one weekend?
1,000 out of 10.
Amazing. Yep. Eye-opening. To what's important.
How enlivening was this event this weekend?
1,000 out of 10.
I haven't been hungry. I didn't want to sleep when I got home last night.
You inspire me to stop doing drugs.
Amazing. I'm actually on coke right now. So check this out, okay? So that being the case, look, this is a 3-day one, right? You don't have time to do 3 days a week of this all the time. But what if this was an afternoon a week? Not me. I'm not saying me. But what if something like this was an afternoon a week? How much more money would we all be making? How much stronger would the guys be? That's the problem. We don't have church anymore. I think the church is amazing. But is it modernized? Is it working? Look, for the people who like it, it's working, right? But it's become a niche. The church is kind of like this niche of this kind of bubble gum, like yay, for a certain personality type. It's like the church, for whatever reason, has become very resonant with a certain type of personality. Really the salt of the earth, actually. Great fucking people. But there has to be something in America to maintain freedom. There's going to have to be something that teaches men to be strong and teaches people to be strong collectively, and strong people are going to have to volunteer. Rich guys are going to have to humble themselves, and they're going to have to go in, they're going to have to help, they're going to have to donate to it, they're going to have to fucking help. We have to bring it back. And if all that we do, and the Bible is my favorite book, but if all that we do at church, and not this is all of it, but if a major league church is like, did you read Timothy verse this? Did you read Leviticus? Did you, like, et cetera, or shaming a gay guy because he's gay, and then getting caught up in that argument, when meanwhile you're not even following everything from Leviticus, and you don't remember anything from Numbers, that's not a proper focus. There's an opportunity cost that you're losing, and you're turning people off. And a lot about it is turning people off, even though the Bible is the best book ever written. So if that's the case, the only way to save society, in my view, is something modernized, like a human awakening project. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't think there's any other way. And here's how I know. Do you guys remember when I did RSC back in the day? I always had amazing leaders. I'd always have coaches that could public speak like me, sell like me, famous like me, et cetera, et cetera. I could do it like nothing. Who here has been around a bunch of my trainings and watched how many other guys in my trainings I took to high level leadership levels? Who here has seen that? Put your hand up if you guys see me do it. How would you guys describe it, seeing all these other massive leaders just able to do the stuff I can do? Just stand up and describe it to the group just to make it real to them. So it's not just me talking shit. Some of you guys, be a leader, stand up and describe it.
All right, so Zach, a lot of you guys met him. He's an instructor that works with Owen. I met him at a free tour.
Just a guy took a training and just comes to help us.
I met him on a free tour 3 years ago. He was 19 years old. He was my roommate in Vegas. I used to be putting my shoes on to go to the club, and he would be like, oh man, I can't wait to go to the club when I turn 21. Now I see him in the videos with Owen. It's crazy the transformation that he's had.
How much more of a leader is he now?
100x. I mean,
how old is he?
He's 22. He was a kid when I met him.
Why is a 22-year-old a better leader than a 40-year-old and most 40-year-olds? Because he got taught properly. In the future, we will have to choose to freely associate, because public school, look, the church is amazing. And for the people it works, and I recommend you go. But what I'm saying is, if you guys see how good this environment was for a couple days, now this is a bit more of a time commitment, but what if you, in the same way that you lift weights, what if you had this 3 hours a week? I'm not offering that, by the way. I can't do it. But what if you had this 3 hours a week?
I mean,
Mentorship is good, you know what I mean? But not many people have that opportunity. So it's,
Pause. Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So here's what has to happen. The Human Awakening Project that we build has to be people freely associating and helping other people for free because regular people cannot afford it. The problem is the self-development system has let down, the capitalist self-development system has let people down. Now look, I fought against it. Yeah, I made a lot of money. I put most of my money back into free events, back into free videos, back into getting guys like the instructors that you guys mentioned to put out free videos, even when a lot of time they didn't want to do it. And get them to do free events, even when they didn't want to do it. I did that because I knew that the world was getting fucked. So if you care, freely associate in groups where you can learn, because otherwise you'll be a highly intelligent guy like yourself at age 28, still stuck, not making shit. And from there, then go help other people. But here's the main point. If I bring him up and I get him public speaking, and then I say, hey, face forward. Hey, put the mic to your mouth. Hey, project your voice. Hey, carry yourself well. Hey, don't be afraid. Hey, don't have limiting beliefs. Hey, you're the man. And we keep tweaking it. That's how we build leaders. And now you don't have women needing to have sex with butch lesbians only to be attracted. And I want her to find her next butch lesbian, and she's going to help her do it. Pause.
No, I'm done with that.
But, that's good. But, okay, but the point is she should hook up with a butch lesbian because she wants to, not for lack of options. The point that I'm making is this. We've got to change the world. We just have to change the fucking world. Okay? Or our kids are fucked. Everybody's fucked. It's going to shit. Now you got girls, like a girl who, like I got lesbian friends. I love lesbians. Some people are born as lesbian. But a girl who might have not been a lesbian should not have to resort to that because she can't meet a girl, right? Like, you as a man, if you like to fuck dudes, you're gay, I fucking love that for you, and I'll come to your guy wedding. I love gay people. But if you weren't even gay, I don't want you to start to give him a hand job because you can't find a girl. That's fucked up, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how it's supposed to be in life. So, a guy like you shouldn't be broke. You know what I'm saying? Stop it. Okay, you shouldn't be broke. Okay, stop it. Okay, you shouldn't be broke. Okay, you shouldn't be broke. And you guys in here should be where you want to be as well. Okay, so that's really what I'm teaching you guys. Okay, any questions about what we talked about here? And do you have any questions?
Owen?
Yep.
One question. You're talking about this project. I believe most people believe this is the way.
Yep.
Most people even watching believe this is the way.
Yeah.
What practically can the people, each one of us, do today on a daily basis to better ourselves?
That's a great question. Here's what I always say. You have in life, thank you. You have, repeat this after me, mesmerized, one sec, and mesmerizers. Okay, the top marketing teachers teach this. You have the mesmerized, you have the mesmerizers. So in other words, most of society right now is the mesmerized. Begin to become the mesmerizer, aka the creator of new social contracts, the creator of places that people can live within. And then, as they feel comfortable, help them to elevate. That's what has to happen. That's literally what has to happen. Any other quick questions? Yep.
Yes, Owen. So I know we all want to be stronger and we all want to be better creators. I struggle to find, and maybe some of you guys feel this too, the line between being disagreeable and being a dick. Like, I've sometimes steamrolled people and hurt their feelings. How do we find that fine line?
That's the laughter part. You laugh, you say, I love you, but no. That's what it comes down to. Yep. Gotta be louder. That's the line. Watch that. Gotta be louder. See that? That's the line. What's that?
I was just wondering if you could elaborate real quick on what you mean by freely associate.
In other words, we only show up for work, for school. Like, I don't want communism where everyone has to go meet up, but we can choose to freely associate. And again, hard time creates strong people creates good time creates weak people. We're at the end of the cycle. So I'm just trying to give you guys guidance on what to do. If you want to know where I actually come from, I hate to tell you this, I have lived the shit out of life to the point that it's like if we're at Six Flags or Disneyland and I've done all the rides 100 times. I've done all the rides. Sex, dating, restaurants, parties, travel, money, all of it. I've done all the rides. So I'm kind of just sitting here with like a next generation of people that came to the park and I'm like, look, if you want to do the ride safely, here's how to do it. If I got shot today, I've already lived like 300 fucking lives. So I don't walk around with the same, look, I have a physical fear of death. Like, you know, if a knife comes at my pupil, I'm like, ah, like I'm scared like you are. Right? I don't like metal blades penetrating my body. I feel that too. But from a spiritual perspective, I'm more looking forward to what's next. But God just keeps me here. And I'm like, come on, can I come home, please? I'm like, come on, man. Like, I like, and people are like, do you want to get reincarnated? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I don't want to go to Best Buy again. I don't want to go to Walmart again. I don't want to go to grade school again. I don't want to apply for college. I don't want to have to learn a game again. I don't want to have to go to the DMV. I don't want to have like a crazy Uber driver, okay? I don't want to like accidentally crazy glue my fingers together. Like, I'm done, okay? I'm okay. I'm good. You remember Jon Snow in Game of Thrones when they died, he brings them back, and then he goes to battle, he goes, listen, if I die, he's like, don't bring me back. Like, that's me. I'm like, no. I'm like, don't bring me back. Like, I'm okay. Like, I've lived like 100 lives, 100, 200 lives, 300 lives, I don't know what. So, like, I've done all the fun stuff. My main joy at this point is just trying to help you guys out. I have some fun stuff for myself that I like to do. It's cool, but like, I mean, once you bought $5 million, $10 million in clothing, millions in watches, jewelries, vacation, mansion, like, you know, you've had sex, like at a certain point, like, it's just sex with another body, guys. It's not a big deal. If anything, the meeting them and the whole socializing part's the fun part, okay? So, but if you haven't had that stuff yet, then you deserve the chance to have that. You know what I'm saying, right? You deserve the chance to enjoy that so that you can be the complaining, bitchy old guy. So, you know?
What can they do if they did not have those live situations? I mean, the best people are raised
Well, that's why you have the needs. No income, employment, entrepreneurship, training, right? Basically, they've just given it up. So they're the opposite of me. But then they're depressed because they can't get it. Why can't they get it? Because they were in the groupthink, they were told their shit, and they took it. As they're told their shit, women got more and more turned off, reaffirming that they're shit. Women became harder, men became more incels, and we got in a cycle. That is not going to break on its own, guys. I'm sorry to tell you. Women are not just going to wake up one day and go, I want to fuck incels. I want to fuck the neats. It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. So guys and girls can only break the cycle by freely associating and making a Human Awakening Project. And that also, from a spiritual standpoint, even more important than just a man-woman thing. And then for their moving up, it's going to have to happen because we have a church and it's amazing, but it's not 80, 90% of people in church anymore. And the problem is that what I did here is not enough. This event for a couple of days is like, if you're super out, like you had no cardio, and I came and I got you to hike Runyon Canyon for 3 days. Like, it's great, but it's not consistent. And yes, you can mentor each other a bit, and you should be friends with each other, but that's also not enough. I have programs that I made that are really inexpensive. Now do you guys see why I made those programs inexpensive? Now do you see why some of you guys, I told you to come for a year? Do you see why now? What am I building? Tyler Durden was building an army. So, do you understand? Joking. So, the point is, so I know what I'm building. I know how to build out leaders. But leaders are built in environments like this one and others. They're not built out at home watching a video. You have to get in environments. You have to do little corrections. You have to get around other people that show you how to lead. Unfortunately, a lot of our fathers didn't know how to do it. They tried, they didn't know how. Okay? So that's really what the environment's for. It's for men and women. And men and women do it in different ways. Got it? Any other quick questions?
Quick follow-up.
Yep.
Based on the stuff you were saying, that we should be doing the social contract, rating it, holding the frame, etc. Most men sometimes feel a bad emotion, feel lonely sometimes maybe, or the pressure. How do you deal with it outside of the social contract? Like, do you just go cry in the corner?
Here's what it is. Guys are taught to feel their emotions, and there's two extreme ends, right? You have the extreme end back in the day where a guy, you know, he would never show an emotion, and then one day, like, a waiter annoys him, and he's like, fuck you, and then he just has a heart attack, and his head falls into a pancake, and he dies, right? Like, he has a heart attack at 48 because he's so pent up. That's the old 1950s man that was actually bad. These guys were hurting inside. It's terrible. The other side, though, is when they tell you just express it, making you think that that's okay. Do you remember when you were a kid, you could cry, and your mom would come fix it? Part of adulthood is understanding that strategy is done. You had that. Does that make sense? You had a mom. You had unconditional love for your mom. Why are you so focused on getting that again rather than giving unconditional love to somebody else? Right? Your desire for that unconditional love from your mom is because you're not giving that to somebody else. Your desire for what you want is what you're withholding from the world. So you'll find that unconditional love when you give it to a weaker person, not when some girl comes and holds you in her bosom like she's your mom. And you know what's funny? When you get to that point, they'll all be shoving your head into their bosom like they're your mom. They'll be lining up to do it. So the point is that you'll get what you want by not wanting it anyway. Yep. Other quick questions? Yes.
Yeah, real quick, so just knowing
Louder, man.
the state of the world that we're in right now, like it seems like being a rebel or like being rebellious is kind of what we must do.
Correct. Yeah, so by the way, how fucked is it that I have to tell my kids before they go to school, learn from your teachers, they're teaching good stuff, but don't believe them. Like you can't overtly believe them. That's not good, but that's where we are. Okay? But guys, I'm so afraid of my kids being compliant when I was in 2020 that I started taking them on very aggressive hikes like Nepali Coast, Bitsy Badlands, like way up into like crazy shit in Sedona, in Eagle Creek, because I was like, fuck, it's more dangerous for my own children to be in the system, so I've got to expose them to risk now. I shouldn't have to bring my kids on the Kalalau Trail to protect them, right? So yes, unfortunately, with where we are, disagreeability and non-compliance is the only safety. There's no other way with where we are now. I hope to get back from that. I hope we aren't there in 100 years, but that's where we are.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you were saying about like hard times make strong men, and weak men make bad.
Yes.
So my question to you is like, knowing that Harvard, glyphosate, Bill Gates, all this shit, right? We're going against that on an individual and then a collective level. What's the end game here for everyone that is in this room?
As evil rises, good rises in parallel. So evil rises, good rises in parallel. Good is a loosely defined term. Every person thinks they're good. Even Bill Gates thinks he's good, probably, right? But, when he blew a load into the goat's head, he's helping it to have throat moisture. God knows, I'm kidding, he didn't do that. But, I'm joking, humor. But the point but what I'm saying is, it's as evil rises, good rises to meet it in parallel, okay? And what we have to understand is that even Ray Dalio, like the smartest guy you've seen, wrote a whole book, which is like, it's basically called The New World Order. Except he didn't call it The New World Order. What did he call it? The Changing World Order. That's a synonym for new. Dalio, who goes to Davos, literally made a whole book being like, here's his book. He's like, okay, guys, it's called The New World Order. The Changing World Order. Back in the day, we used to be rich and we had fulfillment from materialism. Going forward the next couple hundred years, China will rule and you'll find happiness in your family, which that's a good point. But when the most successful guy is writing that as his book and he's talking about historical changes, that's a problem. So then here's your choice. Do you just go quietly into that good night as an individual? Do we fail as an individual or do we rise together? We rise together, right? So people can freely associate. How come Dalio didn't think we can freely associate? Imagine what we could do, what we could figure out here in a couple days, right? In a couple this is the free tour. Did you guys ever imagine the free tour would be this good? You ever think the free tour would be this level? This is the freebie. This is the free shit. So if we can make something free, right? And if you look at my capacity to help build out other leaders, other people can build out other leaders. We don't have to just take it in the ass. Our girls don't have to unwillingly date just a butch, okay? You don't have to give a hand job to him. We don't have to be the second most successful country. Do you see what I'm saying? We could be the best. What is the definition of America? America is synonym for the best. So you understand what I'm saying? But we fail alone or we rise together. That's just what it comes down to. Does that make sense, guys? Thank you. It's a Human Awakening Project. Any last questions from you, by the way? You have fun up here?
Yes.
I thought you'd have fun up here.
Yeah. I'm getting comfortable.
You're awesome. You added a lot to it. Thank you. Give her a hand for coming up here too with me. I appreciate it. So, do I behave here in a manner that shows that I know I have leverage in this environment? Yes. What are some ways you can tell based on my behavior that I have leverage or status within this little bubble that we created here?
You tell people what to do.
I tell people what to do. Shut the fuck up. No, I don't. No, I do. You're right. Okay, so then, okay, what are other ways you don't have leverage?
You're unfiltered.
Okay, yeah, big one is, say that louder.
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered, right? That's why women love a guy who's always full retard. Unfiltered. What are other reasons? What are other things? Comedian. Vocal projection's a big one, and comedian. If you have leverage, look, here's why it's hard to be funny. When you don't have leverage and you're nervous, you're kind of like this. You're like, yeah, so why'd the chicken cross the road? Right, because you know that you don't have leverage, so you know people might not laugh. Laughter is not just objective. Follow this. Comedy is not just objectively funny. It's power dynamic funny. That's why the stereotype of the cheerleader laughing at the dumb jokes of the athlete, right? It's power dynamics as well as humor. You guys catch that? Right? So have you guys ever seen videos where I walk up to someone and I get them to laugh without even saying anything?
Yeah.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
You're acting like you know that we're going
Oh, and why is your collar ripped in the back?
It's ripped, bro. Did somebody tell you that this morning? I should have told you that. It's ripped in the back. It looks silly. You're iced out today, so I like it. Fucking iced out.
You guys see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
How am I doing it?
Holding the tension.
Just hold tension. Say the word hold tension.
Hold tension.
When you have leverage, you can hold tension. You guys ever notice whenever I sold you something, do I hold tension?
Oh, yeah.
How much do I hold tension if I sell you something? You remember? I'm like, you had to hold attention. So that's why guys I go to LooksMax, I got to look some money. I'm like, you don't know how to hold tension. You don't know how to have humor. You had no swagger. Like, what are you talking? Like, there's so many layers you had to have down to be great with women. Why, you think you just went to the gym, lifted weights, and you got a creatine from GNC and went and got a 24-hour fitness membership. You got a bit bigger arms. That's going to hold tension, free associate. All that stuff won't happen. So you've got to learn how to hold yourself and carry yourself as someone with leverage. But here's where it's interesting. If I was going to be a dick, which I'm not, but if I was going to be a dick, could I walk into somebody else's seminar and hijack the leadership position doing what I do here? I can. Okay? So the reason why that is because I have done so much cold approach, and a cold approach is not a yes man type environment. A common feedback I get when I control frame on a crowd is they go, well, yeah, that's your crowd. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, be happy I can't post infield anymore because that was not my crowd. These are crowds of people who didn't like me. I'm not their ideal looking guy, and it didn't matter. So here's what happens, okay? Watch this. You go get the fish, everyone starts giving you leverage, that raises your winner effect. Remember how we talked about this? When a bunch of girls like you, your winner effect goes up? To be great at communication, to be great at attraction, you have to know how to self-generate your own winner effect. That's the key. So in other words, If you're asking me a question, instead of going, hey, Owen, I have a question, you go, hey, Owen, thank you very much. And then what you do is, watch this. When you're doing a seminar, you look around the room like this. Oh, you know what's a cool little tweak for you here too? You know how you're talking about the cut collar? Yeah. Okay, this is actually like a way too expensive shirt. They cut the collar. In high fashion, why do they like cut the collar?
To be different.
They do it to generate that comment. Do you guys follow? What is this meant to generate? Shit test. Do you guys follow that? Why does peacocking work? Peacock, okay, try going out to a club one night dressed really different, really outlandish. You will get, if you do this one thing, you will get the most attraction you've ever seen in your life. If you go to a club peacocking, okay, and people shit test you, they test you, and you fail, you'll go home with your tail between your legs. But if you take that test that you proactively chose to generate and you fly through it, attraction explodes. A peacock's feathers, what is it meant to communicate? A liability. Say liability. So what it's basically showing is the giant feathers shows the female peacock, I can survive with this energetic consumption. It's actually just reproductive. Do you guys know that? High fashion is meant to elicit mockery, and then you carry it with vibrance, which then amplifies you further. It's peacocking. A mansion, is that an energy give or an energy drain? It's like peacock feathers. I can survive with this house that costs way more. A rapper who wears a chain that could get him shot, like one of those rapper pendants in the hood, is showing I can wear this thing that would get me shot, but I'm so good in the hood that I won't get shot. These are status dynamics. A loud projecting voice, if you get tested, you'll go home with your tail between your legs. If you joke around and you get tested, you might go home with your tail between your legs. What if you give the joke and you hold the tension and you don't care? What if you project your voice, you hold the tension, you don't care? But it also has to be calibrated. So the other rule is you can't just do an uncalibrated joke, right? So something like high fashion is like kind of like a nice shirt, but kind of like a fucked up shirt. Do you guys see that? Like if I'm just wearing dog poo, that's not high fashion. You see what I'm saying, right? So that's kind of how it works, right? That's the whole idea of it. That's why in a smaller down city, they would view more of like a suit as high fashion because they don't even know that other high fashion stuff is. But in pockets of ultra status like LA, New York, Miami, London, Paris, high fashion is different because you're playing a different level of game. You're playing a higher level game. That's why people don't understand it, right? So in other words, in Ohio, my beard looks homeless. You see what I'm saying? But in Hollywood, it's like, do you know how much I paid to look this homeless? That's a joke, right? That's kind of the joke. Homeless chic was the joke of that stuff. Yeah, really quick because I want to keep on this record.
What's an example of an uncalibrated joke or uncalibrated?
Well, it's like you go to do something funny, but it's kind of just not. You know, like it's just too off. It's like good joke is like a little curveball, but it's not. So, okay, here's the example. It shows social awareness with willful flouting of that social norm. In other words, your winner effect is high enough that you're hyper aware of social norms while playing with it and bending it.
So you're aware of the rules, but bending and breaking.
Yeah, so Kanye West, who, you know, some good, some bad with that guy. But when he's at his best, he is bending the rules of music while still understanding the rules of music. Okay? So if I'm doing a seminar, I'm still within the convention of a Tony Robbins type seminar, but I'm playing with it. Does that make sense? Let's keep going. Yep.
Understanding the rules of music.
Gotta be louder, man.
By understanding the rules of music, he understands how far he can take it.
Yeah.
without crossing it.
Yeah, and then sometimes Kanye goes so far that you're like, no.
Right.
And he does that.
Correct.
You go, no, dude. No. Okay? It's like, he's like, yeah, I'm creative. You're not. This shows a complete lack of awareness, Kanye. You see what I'm saying? But at his best, he plays it. That's like Dark Twisted Fantasy album, where I cried at the end of that album because it was such a tour de force. I was like, this is so incredible. I'm inspired by this. Other stuff, not so much, right? But you know, we take our artists for who they are. Sometimes they're kind of crazy, so we take them for who they are. All right, so now watch this, okay? So these are different status dynamics that you can master over time. Now, if I come in and I go, hey, Owen, I really enjoy the seminar. Watch what I'm doing. The beta male looks right at the alpha and asks the question directly at about 20% of the alpha's voice being freely expressing. The beta male has less expression, less free association. The beta male is also so much trying to keep up with the standards of the group and harmonize the group that they don't even know how to bend the rules in a fun way. You guys see what's going on there? So these are different elements that are going on. If you stand up, you say, hey, Owen, this has been a great seminar. And I think, and here's what you do. You look at me 20 to 30% of the time, and then you look at the crowd the other 70, 80% of the time. So if you ask me a question, I'll go, you know what? That's a great question. Look what I just did there with my hand. Great question. So his question was XYZ. The answer is ABC. The question's XYZ. The answer is ABC. So do you see how I'm going back and forth? Mm-hmm. See how the room is projecting? You see that? That is the base layer of communication. What I'm doing, here's the key. Now here's the next key of it, if you want to understand it, which is super potent, okay? This is crazy. It's from Blueprint Decoded, if you remember. Human beings have what's called social pinging. So the way that we perceive reality, this is what we're always doing, but we don't know that we're doing it. Watch, this is the magic of the whole thing. We're going like this. Light, walls, air, ground. We're doing this. We don't know that we're doing it though. Do you guys see that? See how you're in the room and you have like a sonar? Do you guys see that? It's like a sonar? Yeah. So you're always like, where's Rowdy? Where's Rowdy? Where's Rowdy? Where's Rowdy? Where's Rowdy? Where's Rowdy? What's Rowdy? What's Rowdy? What's Rowdy? That's your brain doing sonar. The way hypnosis works, watch this. If you are constantly trying to determine a reality through your own eyes, how much energy and calories is that burning in your brain? Is that calorically expensive? Yeah. Is that neurochemically expensive? Yeah. Okay. So human beings, can we learn from the experience of others? Yeah. Okay, so if I tell you right now, you can jump off the top of this building and survive because you'll bounce like a rubber ball. If I tell you that, how do you know I'm wrong? Because if you didn't have other people's experience, you might jump off the top of the building, right? You don't know if you can fly or not. We have some instincts, but you see my point? So when you're a kid, if you're a kid and you start to walk near the edge of a building, what does everyone around you start to do as you walk off? What do they go like that, and they go, no! What your brain does is it detects the certainty of the no and the certainty of the fear to see if it's real. So is groupthink bad or good? Both. Say the word both. Because groupthink is good because you can attend the seminar. Like, as I speak, I'm talking from 25 years of experience. Can you feel the certainty in my voice? Yeah. Does that make you a bit more receptive? Yeah. Yes. Could you tell someone was speaking not from experience? Yes. Yeah. I ate a bunny rabbit this morning, and the bunny was pink. It was bouncing down the street, and I chased it, but I actually have wings. So as I'm flying down the street, chasing the bouncing pink bunny, I use my fire-breathing dragon skills. And I roast this little fucker. Okay? I grabbed it, I bit it, but it's a little ashy. So I spit it the fuck out. And then I'm like, you know what? I take in a hover car to seminar. Fuck the wings. Does that sound relatively similar as what I just said? Yes. From a certain standpoint. So actually, I tricked you. You can't actually tell. It's a lie. That's the main key. You know how women say confidence is everything? Even when you know you're not the Giga Chad. Gotta believe that you are the Giga Chad. Act like a Giga Chad. They believe you're a Giga Chad. You gotta be Batman. Here's the key. You've got to have it to the point where you go into your brain and work it out in your own brain why you're better than the Giga Chad. If it takes you a month, find a way. Now here's the fucking biggest bitch shit ever. It's always that one guy that goes, I spent a month and I couldn't find a way. Lie to me, baby. Baby, lie to me. Look, are you saying to lie? I don't know what I'm saying other than that you're a bitch. End of the day, you have to control your own brain, okay? Every man, woman, or whoever has to somehow, some way, find their goddamn value. So, I don't know, you're a child of God. You are breathing. You are alive. Just find a way. Because it's always like, I tell people, take time to find a way. And like, the whole room finds a way. But there's always like this one guy who's like, oh, I can't find it. It's like, all right, then lie. But are you saying lie? I don't know what I'm saying, dude, but I'm saying you're about to never have sex for the rest of your life. So, I don't know, dude. Like, and then, you know what's funny? A strong frame can be a strong frame that you're awesome or a strong frame that you suck. That guy has a strong frame that he sucks. And then you know what starts to happen? I buy into his frame. And I think you're right. You are never going to reproduce. But then I go, God damn, bro, you got a strong frame. Maybe use it for good, not evil. That's your answer. Got it. See it? Yeah. You're so negative that it's a superpower. That's why you're good, okay? So here's what I'm getting at. The reason why hypnosis works is because human beings are a hive mind. We have a mechanism that seeks out not objective truth, but certainty within a group for two reasons. Watch this. Safety and energy conservation. Here's the thing. The key. See when I just say that, you listen? Okay, watch. In reality, even if the group believes something false, if everyone chooses to agree with it, does that generate safety? Yeah. Do a lot of groups believe false shit? Yeah. But survival in history, you need a group. Okay? So for example, look, if I'm going to say something controversial to you, I can try to convince you with facts, or I can say, hey, you know what? If you ask around, there's a lot of other people that believe this. They just don't want to say it. But the majority of people think the way I'm saying here. What's more convincing, that or facts? That, because you're saying there's more safety. Okay, Osh experiments. Look up the Osh experiments. Look up the Milgram experiments. So what happens is human beings, we will believe where certainty is for safety, say safety, and to harmonize the group, and to not get kicked out of the tribe. But we also will believe it to save energy. Say that. So have you ever had it where your buddy's like, hey, the store is this way? And you've been to that store 1,000 times this way, but they're so damn certain that it's this way that you almost feel yourself go unconscious, like you're almost like, you ever feel that? You ever feel that? They're like, no, it's here. Like if I told you guys, so when you guys exit tonight, okay, make sure that you guys exit. See how that fucks with you? Can I show you something powerful with sales? With sales, watch this. And I teach sales, so I'm open about everything I do. When I say go to the back, here's the key to sales. If you want to sign up, put your hand up. Watch this. If you want to sign up, put your hand up. Watch that. Watch that. What does that do if I go, if you want to sign up, put your hand up? What happens? If I go, if you want to sign up, put your hand up. And I go, and I flick it. I flick it. Flick it. You know what I mean, right? The butch lesbian stuff. Flick it, okay? So, flick it. And then I go, and then watch this. I go like this. I go, get up, get up, and go to the back. Go to the back. Get up, up, back. You guys say, get up. Look how I use my toes and my knees. Get up, back. See that? Get up, back. And I look back. See that? It's leading. That's why guys with weak frames can't get laid. Thank you. Okay? Get up, exits there. go through the door, through the wall. Walk at the wall, and the door will open, okay? See that? So, the problem is, now, add that plus social proof. Plus social proof. That's why you go to the Bieber concert, no one can hear anything because it's weird, like it's not suited for Coachella, and everyone just sits there looking at Bieber like this. 100,000 people. It's not, he doesn't even have the best anthems for Coachella. Because everybody else is doing it, right? They're being told to do it. They're in the group, okay? So now, a strong person who generates the social contract, who generates the frame, is able to see through that shit. How? Here's what's, let me share what's fucking with you. If your entire life, you've been in groupthink, you have a mental habit, but you actually have an opposite problem, which I'm gonna get to. So you have a mental habit where basically what's happening is, your mental habit is the path, say the word path least resistance.
Path of least resistance.
Autopilot.
Autopilot.
So basically like 90% of your fucking day is spent on autopilot. When you tie your shoes, do you have to think about it? Okay? You ever been just like driving by where you'd get off the ramp for work and you accidentally drove off? Right? You're just driving, oh shit, I went this way. It's autopilot. Why do we have autopilot?
Saves calories.
It saves energy because we only have so much brain power. Look, you guys don't realize, look at who came before us, Homo habilis, Homo erectus. They had to do things like cook the protein, the animal protein, to get enough fats to grow their brain. Do you guys understand that we're on a limited brain right now? Do you actually know that? I'm so smart. We're pretty far in evolution, but do you guys know how even back problems are pretty common? That's because our ancestors were on all fours. So we're not even fully used to even standing upright yet, even though we've been doing it for a couple million years, but that's not even quite long enough. We're still in an evolutionary process. So we're actually still kind of dumb. But what's crazy is we're super psycho smart if we optimize our brains properly. But without optimization, we're basically fucking retarded. Not the good retard like we were a pimp, okay? Not the swaggy retard, the bad version, okay? It's like the cool nerd, the not cool nerd, same kind of thing, right? The cool retard, the not cool retard. You're the not cool retard. All right, now watch this. So your brain, in order to get a strong frame, you've got to adapt to thinking for yourself more. Now here's what's gonna happen, and here's your flaw, because it's the next level. So here's the next level for you, okay? Okay, here's his next level. This will help him a lot if he listens. He may not be able to. Okay, watch this, okay? Hear that? Watch. So, I know all. Here's what happens. Oh, by the way, when I go, I know all, what am I doing? I'm hypnotizing you. That's hypnosis. I don't even know hypnosis, but I'm hypnotizing. I go, I know all. Why am I saying that? Because you're in frame, I go, I know all, I know all, I know all, I know all. What I'm doing is, have you guys ever noticed that I can hold your attention way longer than an elementary school teacher? Yeah. Maybe a little bit longer? Yeah. Yep. Okay, because I can hold you in frame longer. The teacher doesn't know how to do it. The teacher's teaching with just information. Teaching with just information is like gaming a girl using logic. Right? It doesn't work. You're not speaking the part of the brain. So if I go, I know all, listen, 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 I know all, listen, listen. Your brain just like, I'm making you receptive. I'm creating receptivity. I am taking ownership to help fucking teach you. So here's what I'm doing. I have the mental habit of continually thinking for myself. Have you guys ever noticed that like Blueprint Decoded or some of the things I pioneered, you're like, where'd you come up with this? You ever maybe just watch one of my courses and rather than just seeing me as some mystical guru, like just ask yourself, where did Owen get this? You ever do that? Did you ever do that? Do you ever wonder how I can just generate content like this? Did you ever pause and wonder how? Or do you just go, oh, he public speaks a lot? Have you ever considered the process? Here's the process. If you have a general habit of thinking for yourself all the time, then what happens is your brain is acclimated to being more active the way that someone who does cardio is acclimated to doing cardio. So if let's say that you huff and puff a lot, right? Well, if you huff and puff a lot, and then you start doing cardio every day, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, more, what happens in 5 years? Can you guys feel that my brain is like a guy that did a lot of cardio, but for my brain? Yeah. Actually, my cardio sucks. But my brain cardio. I got synaptic pathway cardio, y'all. Too bad the hoes don't like it. But I'd be like, yeah, girl, I got them synaptic pathways. But actually, you can show that with free association and fun. Funny guys say, girls don't like smart guys. Actually, if you were smart, you'd have swagger, bitch. So, okay, you'd use their brain to make swagger, not to complain. So anyway, look, so what happens is you will learn that you can gain more leadership by, watch this, not pinging off other people, and instead be the one who shoots out the pings. So you're not the ping receiver, you're the ping giver. When you're the ping giver, your brain's no longer receiving pings, and you have to think for yourself. Now watch this. That has a ceiling. Here's where the ceiling of that is. What do you lose when you no longer have input? You become Kenny Powers. You guys ever see the show Eastbound and Down? Eastbound and Down. He's this baseball player who thinks he's a man, but he's stumbling all over himself. Narcissism, by the way, is a very weak mental position. Why is it weak?
It's win-lose.
Because you can't get input. You're fucked. It's actually very vulnerable. Can't get input. So then what you do is you come back around and you actually, here's the main key if you're a super genius. You get even more groupthink than the group thinker. Even more. You're learning from 100 times more people and getting 100 times more input than the person who thinks for himself. But here's the two things you're not doing. You're not assessing it in terms of how much safety do I get if I believe this. Okay, so say, safety is not a consideration.
Safety is not a consideration.
Their certainty is not a consideration. So someone comes up to you and they go, hey, go that way. Your brain goes, I'll look at it, but I don't care how certain you were. I go, look, everyone else, oh, the other one's not a consideration, is social proof. So say this, harmony is not a consideration?
Harmony is not a consideration.
In other words, agreeability is not a consideration.
Agreeability is not a consideration.
Certainty of frame is not consideration.
Certainty of frame is not a consideration.
Safety within the group is not a consideration.
Safety within the group is not a consideration.
And saving mental energy is not a consideration.
Saving mental energy is not a consideration.
Their certainty is not a consideration.
Their certainty is not a consideration.
You just think about what they say.
You just think about it.
Yeah, so in other words, like, that guy is like, hey, stand up, go to the back. What someone okay, here's what happens. If I go stand up, go to the back. If you're in groupthink, you feel like a puppet string just went, whoop, and then you're in the back. How'd I get here? Okay? If you are thinking for yourself, you say no. I'm not doing it. No. Just because you've got a big crowd here, and just because you're certain of yourself, I don't believe you because of that. I think for myself. Okay, bro. Big baller top G. I did this for I spent 25 years, 50 hours a week studying this, but by psychic magic power, you will have all the information I have because you're just chosen by God to have psychic fucking powers. You're a fucking retard. You're probably worse than the group thinker because at least the group thinker can get the damn information. So what happens though, watch this. You're now having to have enough brain power first to think for yourself. Say that, first think for yourself.
First think for yourself.
Then to think about what everybody else is saying.
Then think about what everybody else is saying.
And the third order consequences of it. And the counterexamples of it. Without looking at their social proof. Without looking at their certainty. Without being mentally lazy. And without concern for safety within the group. And without concern for being agreeable. That's real leadership. I have a council of mentors. I've got everybody around me mentoring me all day. But I'm not just going, what most guys in groupthink do is they look at the mentor and they're like, how certain is he? How certain is he? Is there anyone else here? How certain is he? Okay? People who have their own taste, their favorite YouTubers are not like Taylor Swift, Bieber, and PewDiePie. Okay? They're not. What does it communicate if someone says, my favorite artist is Taylor Swift? Yeah, but the thing is, what if you actually, you know what's funny? I like a song by Taylor Swift, okay? I thought it was pretty good. So like I was listening, you wanna hear my favorite Taylor Swift song? I heard it the other day. So this is what I'm getting at. I thought this kind of had like a vibe to it, okay? So the point is, I'm not gonna be a Swiftie who's like, oh, Taylor Swift is my God. Oh my God, right? That's a group thinker. But I also don't hate Taylor Swift just because she's fucking popular. Here's a song I like from Taylor. Give it a second. I didn't want to like it. I heard it. I Shazammed it. And I was like, Taylor Swift? Damn it. I'm a Swiftie. Give it a second. Takes out.
As legend has it, you are quite the pyro. You light the match to watch it blow. And if you'd never call for me, I might have drowned in the melancholy. I swore my loyalty to me, myself, and I. Right before you lit my sky. All that time, alone in my tower, you were just haunting the powers. Now I can see it all.
Okay, it's a great song. Anyway, okay, so you get my point, right? So, that's a true story, dude. I heard, I was like, that's a great song. I was like, that's kind of catchy. I'm like, Swift. I'm like, no. So look, the point being is, if I'm the, I can't learn from anybody camp, no, I can't take a song as a song, okay? Ayn Rand had a character, I think it was like Gabriel Winden or something, I read it many years ago, where he's super rich, and in his attic, he has some of the most famous paintings in the world because he's rich, and random crap he found at like a dollar store. So he's got like a Mona Lisa beside the dollar store. What is it? What's the meaning of that? What's the meaning of that? It means he likes what he likes. The broke guy hates the Mona Lisa because he can't get it, so he has sour grapes. Oh, I don't want that. The trendy guy just wants the Mona Lisa to have clout, doesn't even like it. The fact that he has a dollar store piece, what's that mean? It means he has his own taste. Every watch collection has to have a vintage piece, by the way. Do you guys know that? So you have your Nautilus, you have your RM, you have your Rolex, you have your AP. What else do you have? Vintage. Why do you have vintage? What does it mean if you only have the hype piece? What's it communicate about you if you only have a hype piece? Cloud chaser. You have no taste. So if a guy has a watch collection and he has all hype pieces, what that's saying is I have no taste. I couldn't pick one that I like. So maybe you look up the AP Cobra or something like that. Is it the Cobra Mat? Is that the one that I liked? Yeah, something like that, where you like it just because you like it, and then you show that off, and then a real collector's like, oh, that's sick. You thought of that. Yeah, of course you could afford the Nautilus, but you thought of that, okay? So now what's happening here is your mind is functioning, okay? So your mind is not in groupthink, but your mind is, say this after me, not in groupthink? Not in groupthink. Which of course everybody will laugh at this in the video like, oh, they're all yelling not in groupthink, they're in the groupthink. Okay, bitch, how do you want me to unprogram this then? Like it's because they're all those people that say that are in phase 2. They're like, no, I'm never going groupthink to even get help getting out of groupthink because I've got it. No, you need to go into groupthink to get out of groupthink because then you learn to think for yourself by other people who studied it. I learned how to get a groupthink from Ayn Rand, from other leaders. I didn't just wake up one day enlightened. We all have mentors. So say, out of groupthink. Out of groupthink. Generating groupthink.
What's the best way to practice this?
Constantly not catching your mind going into the certainty or the social proof. Constantly. Then learning to generate the certainty and the social proof. That's why the guy who's good with girls can go in a nightclub, befriend everybody because he's so certain of himself, and generate massive social proof rapidly. He can build an audience. He generates the social proof. Okay? Then what happens, and I'm going to take this very full circle, so pay attention. It's going to make you so much more successful. So then what's going to happen is this. Now your brain is able to see reality, okay? You're not being dumbed down. You're waking up and you're becoming smarter by the day. Even if you were born low IQ, if a guy was born and he couldn't lift weights that easily, but he trained for 20 years, is he gonna be a lot stronger than a guy that was born strong but never ever trained? Yeah. That's why no one's actually dumb. Any of you guys here get like bad grades in school and you're like, man, like maybe I'm just kind of dumb, I don't know. You ever feel that way? Because you're not using your brain enough. That's why. You're not exercising enough. If you exercise it more, you'd break out of it, okay? So you do that. Then you start generating frames. Then people go to you for leadership. Why is this important? Let me show you why, okay? And here's how you get rich off of it. Okay. Try to follow this, okay? This is really, really deep shit, okay? I understand 0 to 1 at the highest of levels. 0 to 1 is how you go from nothing to something. Say the word Genesis. Say the word 0 to 1.
0 to 1.
Okay, say the word metaphorical weapons of war. Okay, so metaphorical weapons of war are where you can generate leverage where there's no leverage. Say that. Generate leverage, where there's no leverage. Okay, so an example would be,
Cold approach.
okay, watch it. Cold approach is a huge one, by the way. Here's what the elites do, okay? Some guy who's very good looking and who has access to high-level social circles, when they see somebody learning cold approach, are they like, oh, good on them? They're learning cold approach. What do they often do?
Trash.
Stop being a pest. Oh, you're learning to say hi to someone, you're manipulating them by saying hi to them. Any act of learning any kind of psychology or any kind of asserting your own brain, they'll demean that as bad because they're trying to help you. Because they're the good ones. Because they're just being themselves. Why can't you just be yourself like me? You know what that's like? That's like women that are naturally beautiful that clown on a girl who gets her lips pumped. Can't you just be natural? What's with these girls that have fake lips? Yeah, I get it. The girl with the natural lips is better. Not everyone's born with great natural lips. I'm sorry to fucking tell you. What's that girl supposed to do? Just accept it? Look, I actually kind of think women should. I like girls with natural lips, but you know about the general point I'm making, right? Say that a girl with flawless skin is like, oh, all these girls wearing foundation. Well, maybe she has acne scars. What do you want to fucking say? Good for you that you don't. Again, I like natural women, but do you see the point I'm getting at? It's always the rich kid who's good looking, who's in the elite social circle, that you learn any bit of psychology, they hate it. Did you guys notice how the mainstream media hated independent media for so long? Why? Because they were the establishment. It made them upset. They tried to get them canceled, did get them canceled many times. You see that? So what we're showing you here, what I'm trying to relay to you, is the following. If you want to go from 0 to 1, you have to find areas that you can gain leverage as Genesis. Say Genesis. 0 to 1.
0 to 1.
Okay, so in other words, the way rich people make money is they have money. Right? What came first, the chicken or the fucking egg? They have fucking money. You see what I'm saying? If you have $1 billion and you find an investment that gives you back 2%, what do you get? Do the math. If you have $1 billion, you find an investment that gets you 2%, what do you get?
20.
A billionaire does not have to be amazing with money. If you've got $100 and you get an investment at 2%, what do you get? So you're fucked. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. If you have no leverage, you need things that are ultra high leverage. As an example would be self-education. Say self-education. Self-education. Okay, the reason why is because if you have an investment that's if you have an investment, say you have an investment, okay, say you have $1,000. What is a 50% investment at $1,000? What is it? $500. Is that enough to live on? No. So how much, if you have only say you had $5,000, what return do you need to actually get?
100%. 500%.
At $5,000, if you make back 10, can you live off that? What do you need to live in a major city for a year? Where do you live? What would it cost to live in LA for 1 year?
I don't know. You tell me.
At least for you, minimum, if you had like a roommate, $3,500 for a room, another $4K in expenses, like $7,500, you need about 100 grand. So if you put down 10 grand, what do you need to get? What kind of stock would you need to put that in to be able to live for 1 year in LA?
I don't know anything about stocks.
You would need a 10x return. How unusual is a 10x return in the stock market? What would be considered quite good in the stock market? For the investors, what would be good? 10, 12%. Do you remember earlier I said you have to have something that cash flows? That's because once you have money, once you've got the nut, then you can go at 12%. But you've got to get the nut. So the cash flowing means that you're able to get from nothing to something. Okay? So what you do is you invest in a high ROI skill set, then you build a lead list, then you have the people actively watching you, then you have an offer, you have a low ticket, like for example, free tour, lowest ticket offer you can get. What are other things like a free tour? Because let me ask you a question. By you guys being on a free tour, what is the likelihood, now that you came to a free tour, that you will do business with me for the rest of your life while I'm alive?
Fucking high.
How much higher because you came here? Now, I have the privilege of doing free tours. That's super dope, right? But not everybody can. You know, I've done this, I have my little ways, right? But I could teach it to you, by the way. But you also could do a free course. Now, what if only 50 people watch the free course, but it's a cool course? Out of 50, maybe 5 of them want to do business, but you gave them a free course. That course should be amazing. But here's how it works with like information products as an example, right? So I do a free course. Now, when I tell you guys, I would do the boot camp for you for free if I could. Do you guys think I'm lying or think I'm telling the truth? So what is the very real reason that I can't do a boot camp for free? There is a reason why.
You can't teach that many people.
I can't teach that many people. I can't give you the attention. This is actually my attempt to teach a boot camp to like a shitload of people, basically, right? But because there's a limit in my time and attention, it only goes so far. So then if I say to you, hey, I will take my time and by doing a paid thing, I'll shrink it, I'll bring in help, I'll rent venues, and I'll focus on you, does that come across as like I'm scamming you? Or does that come across as like, well, I liked what you gave for free, so now that there's this other thing that I could get, I'd actually like to take that journey with you. Does that make sense? Now, what if I'm able to give so much value at that thing? Okay, so what if I can give so much value at this thing that a 5K or 12K or whatever purchase makes sense? Then you do that. But what if I give so much value at that you go home and, as an example that in theory could happen, you did so well off it that now you're like, man, I want to do more with Owen. Like, you done boot camp with me before, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think you made more money because you took training?
Oh, a lot more, yeah.
How much more would you add that to if you were just guessing?
I think I increased my income about $20,000 per boot camp, so.
Okay, so I didn't know what he was gonna say. I had this little weird gambling addiction with these seminars where I'm like, I never know the guy's gonna say. I'm like, how'd you do, man? And then like I'm just waiting. But occasionally a guy will say nothing, but he'll always say he got better with girls. So it's not that bad. He'll be like, damn, bro. I mean, I've been getting laid, like, you know. So point being is this, okay? So what happens is if I can help you, then I can do other trainings. Now, would you ever do? I'm not even saying right now, but would you ever do trainings with me at some point in your life, or was that like the last training you'd ever do?
Potentially, yeah.
What if I hard close you? Could I probably get you to do it?
Not right now, no.
Do you want me to do it? Okay, I'll hard close them later for you guys. But okay, look. So the point being, I could hard close them easy. But the point is this, okay? So because I know closing, I'm going to get to that. So look, all that hard closing is not tricking you. It's just showing you how it makes sense. I'd hard close you because I'd sit you down and I'd show you. You have my full attention, tell me everything going on. And then I would just audit areas that I can help you and I can get you back leverage and we'd have a real conversation about it. And if I could find it and I can make you 100% sure that I could get it for you, then I'd hard close you because it makes sense. Does that make sense? So it's not trickery. It's not like I do a dance, right? I would just present it to you in a way where it makes sense. I can also be hard closed. Like we can all be hard closed if it makes sense. So the way that it basically works is, here, try to follow me here, okay? The way that, this is the whole key, the whole fucking thing. This is super deep. The way that you get that high leverage skill is you don't rely on groupthink. That's the whole foundation of what the Dan Kennedys teach, the John Carlton teach, the Alex Hormozy teach, but they're not teaching this to you. They are teaching to you, but not enough. Try to follow. Why? Because look, if you just know sales and ad copy, and you just know how to close, you're just a high ticket closer. Let me actually explain to you like this. I love Shelby Sabb, and I think she's a savage, and I recommend her. A common critique that Shelby gets, but I'm going to defend her, by the way. Do you guys know who Shelby Sabb is? Yeah. Best marketer for women probably of all time, the GOAT female marketer. So follow her, okay? GOAT female marketer. Shelby teaches how to be a high ticket closer. I'm going to show you the critique. I'm going to show you how I defend her because I defend her vehemently, but I just want to show you how I'd help you with this. What they show, she will show you gangster ass closing skills. I teach the same thing, by the way. Okay, the critique of Shelby is, just because you learn to be a high ticket closer, did Shelby get rich and have all those cars and houses from high ticket closing though? No. Why is she rich? Because she has the control of the offer. Say control of the offer. Who other people are selling. Say who other people are selling for her. Right, so she can sell her own offer and she has other people selling her offer. Like I sell my offer, but I have teams of people selling my offer and I own the offer. Does that make sense? Yeah. So what a lot of information marketers are not teaching you is how do you have the offer in the first place? What is the offer? It's not just you sold them on some pyramid scheme. What's the meat of the offer? The meat. What's the meat of the offer? Value. Real value. But real value has to be better than the average bullshit. Say real value is not basic.
Real value is not basic.
It ain't basic shit. It ain't Kmart shit. Right? It's some badass shit. They never seen before. Never seen. Right? Like, is this some shit you've ever seen before? You see them doing, right? Well, this is what they don't teach you. How do you not be the salesperson for the guru, but you become the guru? How? What I taught you here in the past 3 hours. You guys caught that? Yeah. This thought process that I unleashed in you here is how you become the guru. It's how you do it. Because in effect, what's happening is, it's also how you become incredible at dating. I mean, you want to be a wizard with dating and attraction, never have a problem with attraction. This is the way. Not memorizing routines, not learning a magic pill, not looks maxing, not money, nothing. This is how you do it. Because your frame is so strong and your capacity to generate social proof is so strong, and you can just impose frame. And then you impose frame that you're a 10, and now you're a 10. More than a looks maxer. But regardless, it's too complicated for the average person to understand because their brain doesn't work properly. So now their brain's not deep enough yet. It could be that it's just they haven't exercised it. So they're like, just get bigger, get a raise, then ooga booga. Not realize that the guy who knows this is going to smoke him bad most of the time. Let's have an off day. Now, try to watch this. Do you guys see how the thought process that I showed you would allow you to have a unique perspective that would add value, which then you can make a social media about, then you can make an offer with, and then you can sell. Did you guys follow that? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, because you do sales. Can you come up here? I'm going to ask you to break down for them how, as a guy who is a badass guy with sales, break down for them, and we'll see, he may have been zoning out, so I don't want to put him too much on the spot, because it's a long day. Break down what it was that I said and how it relates with sales. To the audience, stand here in the light. Okay. Okay.
I was on that.
I knew. That's why I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
Okay. Say what you do know.
I'm a sales coach and consultant.
Mic up.
Yep.
What is the first thing he's already sales coach and consultant, he's already a badass. What's the first thing I'd teach him, do you think? He's missing right now. Vocal projection and certainty. Okay, so You teach sales, which is super badass. I bet you're fucking crushed at it, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, I bet you do. I can feel it. The average person who does high ticket sales, what is, and some of them can really, really crush it. What would be like the low end, like a straggler, average and high for high ticket sales? Income per month.
For a straggler,
Yeah.
I mean, they're barely making it. Like,
Total garbage.
Yeah.
How about like not that good? What would that be?
not that good, you can do 10K.
I think 10K is much higher than average in high ticket sales, what I've seen in the industry. I think not that good would be 1,500.
If you're on a good offer, yeah, you're right.
I think a pretty good offer, guys, making 10K will be a very high end in high ticket sales
Me, 100K plus.
per month.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you have somebody else's offer that you can sell. How much of that offer do you have to sell to get to keep 100K?
Probably $1 million.
Yeah, north of $1 million, yeah.
Correct. Guys, you guys catch the number? Guys, get educated. Get educated. This is how you go 0 to 1. Why is high ticket sales a great way for someone to go 0 to 1? No college.
Yeah.
No money. Learn it randomly. And you got 100K. Ah! Make sense?
Yeah.
Do you see why that is? But that person who owns the offer, where the guys are making 100K a month, what are they making?
The guy,
Varies, right?
Yeah, 1.5 to 2.
Why is the guy who owns the offer making more?
Well, because he owns the offer, and it's not just he's collecting from the front end sales, but the back end sales too. So things compound for him, whereas the closer has to keep, making it happen every month.
Do you guys see that? But how do you what is the brain thought process that would allow you to even have an offer?
Out of higher mind.
Here's what it is. Say it, be out of group think.
Be out of group think.
Because if you're in group think, if you're in group think, then you just have the same shit everybody else has. If you're out, what happens is when you're out of group think, you become this like Leonardo da Vinci type character, and then you have all these fucking solutions. You're generating solutions faster than you can package and sell them. I have so much raw content, I can make products out of it for 100 years. Just taking my free tour videos and packaging them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then now you can try to get it from AI, but people can sense that too, pros and cons. So then what you do is, the first is get out of group think. You guys see that? The second is master communication. Say that.
Master communication.
To be the ambassador.
To be ambassador.
So is Shelby Saab just giving dope content? What is she also doing? She talks well. She knows how to yap. You guys see that? So a good closer has to also know how to yap as well.
For sure.
Okay, so how do you describe the yapping part of closing?
The yapping part of closing.
Yes.
For me, it's just all about, are you talking about when you're on a call?
Yeah, like could you be a bad communicator and be a closer, or is it good to sharpen your communication skills?
Oh, no, for sure. The better communicator you are, the better your results are going to be. But you have to be present with the person that you're actually communicating with.
Yes. Also notice too that for him, you guys want to get like really advanced for a minute? Yeah. Super advanced. Are you someone who mostly generates new leads from scratch, or are you somebody who is more good at converting leads? So you get a bunch of leads and you're going to come in and convert the shit out of them.
The latter.
Watch this. His communication style is actually a little bit more trust-inducing than mine. Do you guys see that? But I have more swagger and expansive energy than him. That is evolved from our circumstances. My communication gets posted, so I have more fluctuation in voice and more projection, etc., right? More mad scientist vibes. What that does, more Howard Hughes vibes, right? That from The Aviator. Then what happens is that generates attention. So my communication is a balance between trust and attention. He is not yet generating a ton of leads from his communication, but he's converting existing leads. So how's he going to adapt his communication? 100%.
Well, I'm not trying to be the first one.
I know you're not trying. Watch this. I'll teach you something. Super advanced. He's not trying to do it. Believe it or not, I'm not trying to do this. Did I learn to have swagger and hold attention proactively, or did I just get in front of a bunch of crowds and my brain learned how to do it via experience? Because when I went too low, the way he's talking, would it be harder to hold attention for 12 hours a day? Yeah. But it'll induce trust to get a sale. So his unconscious has adapted for his specialization, which is the conversion of sales. I also convert sales, but I can do it in other ways, like showing in-field videos and showing transformations and asking you guys for testimonials. But the point is, like, I'm also holding attention. So each person, like for example, Dan Bilzerian, his communication, if you look at it, is very flat because he would do big parties. He doesn't have to generate leads. I tend to talk more forcefully because I'm talking over music in clubs. Do you guys catch that? That's really advanced. That's really advanced. You guys see that? Why does Dan, who I coached at one point, why does Dan not have to, I don't agree with every opinion, but he's a great guy. But the opinion's a little extreme. But anyway, the point is like, if you look at Dan, he has a mega mansion with women already in the house. So does he need to cut over a DJ and cut over competing stimulus?
No.
So what does his personality sound like? More congruence, alignment, and thoughts, words, and actions. I do cold approach, so I'm going to random people that I've never met, getting them to come away from their group by having more stimulus, and then still flipping them. So I have some congruence. If it's like an NBA Jam character who has like dunking skills, running skills, passing skills, I have congruence, but I also have expansive energy and breaking over stimulus, right? So what he has really well, does he sound like any of this is a big deal when he talks?
No.
Is it a big deal for you to be up here?
No.
Do you guys know it's really deep? It's not a big deal?
He's grounded.
What that does is when he's on the call, they can't steamroll him by negotiating. Watch this. Just give me an example of a price.
54K.
Well, I want it for 26K.
There's a lot of places you can get it for 26K.
How awesome was that? Give me a hand for that. You see that? Right? That's fucking dope. So see what he's doing there, right? So what he's got there, so he doesn't give a fuck. So the not giving a fuck and trust makes a boundary and converts. You guys see that? Okay. That was fucking super dope, by the way. Thank you. Alberto, thank you so much. Yeah, see, he doesn't even care there. He's like, cool. Right? So that nonchalance is powerful for a salesman. One of my sales mentors, Bill Walsh, doesn't generate his own leads as much as he has companies that generate leads for him. So every person's communication will be different based on what they're doing. Alex Jones, as a newsman, has gay frogs memes because he doesn't have NBC generating him leads. You guys catch that? When you learn this, the commonality here is the following. Say the word Genesis.
Genesis.
What he showed you there, you can learn when you're broke. What I'm showing you here, you can learn when you're broke. So that's why we call it cash flowing, right? So in other words, when you got nothing, you have some kind of self-education that teaches you how to cash flow. And then if you learn how to cash flow, then you've got the nut of money that you can get back 12% and be rich. You don't want to have to cash flow. What you want to do, for example, is, now let me finish defending Shelby. So people will say, oh, well, Shelby got all those cars because she owns the offer. Yeah, okay, look how dumb that is. Shelby, God bless her heart, is actually motivating baddies that normally would just be a sugar baby in some cases to learn about high ticket sales. Is the average girl going to really learn to be a master guru and closer and all these skills overnight? But if Shelby gets some closing, then just like how Shelby was just a closer initially, that teaches you the hardest barrier for a lot of people, which is sales. And then later, you see how badass it is, and you'll probably generate your own offer at some point if you want. And then you'll have your own offer later. Why not learn a step at a time? She's just showing you a stepping stone. In my case, I do show you how to create the offer, okay? I'm a bit more of a one-stop shop, but the point is, if I was teaching girls, and only girls, and girls in their 20s, I think I would teach, honestly, high-ticket closing. Because that high-ticket closing skill is badass. Now, let me show you each level skill, okay? So let's look at each level skill. Let's look at the whole picture here, okay? So for all you guys that are coming for the year, I want you to have this by the time you leave. Is that exciting?
Hell yeah.
Does that sound good? Yeah. I'm just trying to whet your appetite here. I'm just fingering your pussy. Okay? So, yeah, I got fingers too. So, okay, I'm trying to finger you, guys. I'm trying to get you a little wet here, okay? So here's what we do. We teach a combination of social skills, which we go out into the field and we teach that, right? Then what we do, so that makes you get good quickly because you are getting, say the word real-time feedback.
Real-time.
So I can tell if your communication sucks when you go out because girls don't want to talk to you, people don't want to talk to you. So now you're getting real-time feedback. That is the best way, and you're getting real-time social calibration, and you're adapting to competing stimulus. That's why guys that know how to go out crush it with offers, crush it with public speaking. It's unreal. Any guys go with girls, I can teach you to be a public speaker in a day. Then what you do is you get your communication down. The communication gets it to where people will listen to you. Then I've got to get your psychology down where you start thinking for yourself. Once I can do that, you start getting ideas. Do some of you guys feel like, look, I'm a decent communicator, could be way better, with training be way better, but I don't even have an idea of how to have an offer? And you guys feel that way a bit? Getting you in state when you go out breaks you out of groupthink. Do you guys know that? If you go out and you get into flow state all the time, you'll break out of groupthink in many cases. So if I can get you out, get you in state, if I can get you yelling at audiences so that, because if I get you doing public speaking, you know what that gives your brain permission to feel? Safety. And what happens when your brain feels safety? You break out of groupthink. See that? Plus you start masterminding with other people. So now you can start thinking about your own offers, your own lanes. You start finding lanes. So that's why what we teach is so important. So now you have communication skills. You're starting to think for yourself. You start building a lane. Then the next thing you got to do is you got to build a list. How do you build a list? Most popular thing in the world right now is called Yap. That may change, but as of today, and we'll adapt whatever the case, coincidentally good right now, but in the future just adapt is all. What's the most popular format of video right now? Yeah. Phone videos. Videos right from your phone. Got it, guys? Yeah. Videos right from your phone. Look, it's the easiest thing to do in the world. Watch this, okay? You guys ever see me do those like little free tour promos? Yeah. That I put in like a YouTube video? Watch this. We are sitting here very late at night on a Sunday at a free event. Is everybody here having a great fucking time at this event? Okay. Have I given, at this free event, have I given everything I have? Everything. Okay, this is for real? For real. How much would you recommend to people to get out to one of these free events? Okay, you guys had fun? Did you guys make great friends here? Oh yeah. Did I gatekeep anything or hold anything back? Okay, have you guys made great friends and gone out and had fun? Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal, okay? I want you to be here. You want to be here. Upcoming, we have incredible free events. Click the link below, and you will come to an entire free seminar. And we're gonna meet. I'm gonna give you personal feedback. I'm gonna build you a mastermind, and we're gonna change your fucking life. Did you guys feel like your life changed being here this weekend? Yeah. Okay. Click that fucking link. Coming up, we have San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Salt Lake City, Denver, Chicago, St. Louis, Minneapolis, Detroit, New York City, Austin, Dallas, Houston, Vegas, San Diego, Phoenix, Boston, DC, Orlando, Miami, Tampa. I think you'll want to click the link. Do you guys recommend they click the link? Yeah! Really excited to meet you at the free tour. Let's get this done. Okay? That's things out, okay? That's things out in front of you. So that's just Yap. That's called, okay? That's just called Yap, okay? So you just Yap. You see how I do that? That's all I'm doing. So basically, so you do the Yap, and then what happens is you just talk in your camera and you build a list. So here's what you want to have to be great at Yap. You have your own way of thinking that's kind of unique, but we will work on that. And then you learn how to be a great communicator. The last part is, did you guys see me doing pitching here? Yeah. I've got to teach you how to pitch. Okay? How important would you say, from what you know about closing, is learning how to pitch and close as a money-making skill?
It's the most important thing once you identify what they want to buy.
Tell them how transformative it is learning how to have the skill of closing and pitching as opposed to working a job and what they would benefit from that, how it changed their life. Stand up.
I mean, when you're working a job, you're basically just going through the motions of what someone else put in front of you, right? When you know how to close, though, you're actually able to create and make things. Like, to me, selling is the only real way to make money. Anything else, you're just getting paid for going through the motions. When you can close, you literally can manufacture income.
That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Do you guys know the inmate model Jeremy Meeks? Do you guys know Jeremy Meeks? He looks kind of like Jeremy Meeks. That's a compliment, by the way. I get Santa Claus. You got Jeremy Meeks, okay? You dig it. Yeah. Are you Jeremy Meeks? Are you? Okay. Yeah, all these girls, it's like this felon who was so good looking that he went to jail, and from his mugshot he became famous, and all these girls want to hook up with him. When you guys watch me do pitching, is that a very eye-opening part of the seminar? Yeah. Okay, so that's very teachable as well. So the way that I teach you, here's how I do it. You guys heard earlier about Human Awakening Project, what we're trying to building leaders. What I try to build leaders is basically, I want people to be able to lead within communities, but I also want you to be able to have your own benefit. You know what I'm saying? I want you to help others, but to help others, you also got to help your damn self. So what I'm trying to show you here is how to be better with girls, but I'm also trying to show you how to build a damn business. So for you guys that are coming for the year, this is me just whetting your appetite a bit. This is what I'm trying to show you, which is a combo of unplugging from groupthink, yet still learning from mentors, getting into better masterminds, taking leadership, because by the way, when you come for the year, you wind up doing stage time and et cetera, so you start to doing leadership. Then I show you how to communicate at 1,000x better, right? Just like how you've seen guys like Zach or Druid or Marcel or other guys, right? How did they learn that? You think Marcel learned how to public speak like that in his basement? No. He did it by getting on stages, right? Then what I get you to do is I get you building out offers, then I show you how to pitch offers, then I show you how to make sales. I don't personally know any other way to get rich from scratch better than this. Another way would be maybe like borrowing money to buy businesses or something, but generally from 0 to 1, that's the best way to cash flow. That kind of model is not something that is gonna make, I think the guy who did the highest off that model would be guys like Tony Robbins, and it will get him to maybe like, you know, Tony Robbins' net worth just from seminars, maybe a couple $100 million. That's like if you're the most famous out there. But you're not gonna be Elon Musk from a cash flow business, right? Is Elon Musk's business a cash flow business? No. Okay, well then do what Elon does. Start space Y. Why can't you? Even if you were gonna do VC, guess what, guys? What do you think all these Silicon Valley guys take my program for? How to pitch for VC, how to pitch for venture capital. I have so many guys in my trainings that are in Silicon Valley, so many, biggest ones. And they're like, yo, because of you, I got more VC money. So I've got guys that do get board of directors and do M&A. The M&A guys come to me to learn how to pitch for loans from banks. You see where I'm getting at here? So I don't care what you're doing, you're in the right place. I don't care what you're fucking doing. But the truth is that all of you guys would rather get laid more than all that money anyway. So the point is you're still in the right place. And in some higher tier of your brain, you probably care more about spirituality and flow states, and you're still in the right place. So the point is, you're in the right fucking place. No, I don't care what you're here for. We got you, okay? So that's really what I'm getting at here, okay? You guys enjoy the speech, by the way? Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. We break it down. Okay?